Hey guys, welcome back to the MX-5 5-cylinder build. In the last video you saw me install the digital dash right there, and today we're doing the final steps to get this car to make a bunch of power. In the previous video you saw that we welded the gearbox, but just on the outside. This was to prove that the gearbox setup with the clutch works, and so far I think we've proven that. But the gearbox has to be taken off to be welded on the inside as well. This was for the reference plane that we had, which we didn't want to lose, beginning with a bunch of small stuff and then taking the box off with the engine still inside of the car. And that's something we haven't done before, but we're gonna see if that's possible. Should be possible to take it off, and we'll work from there. Magnifique. Long-time viewers of this channel and the original reels would have known that this is a BMW gearbox with a Volvo bellhousing welded on. As you can see, not the most beautiful weld, but it works. So I only welded on the outside to prove that it works, and now we'll be welding the inside. So my plan here is to actually cut a groove with the angle grinder on the inside for the new material to sit. If you don't know, with aluminum TIG welding, you really need to be adding new material, else it won't fuse at all. So you can't just fuse weld this, so I'll make a little groove for the new material to sit in so it doesn't bulge out and hit the flywheel. So let's get started. I'll get the angle grinder and then we'll weld it up. I was able to cut a little groove in there. So everywhere that needs to be welded, I have a little groove, so I have fresh material as well. I'll clean this up with some brake clean, nicely supplied by Amy. And so now I can mark out sections, and I can go in a cross pattern, take my time and put an equal amount of heat all the way around in small steps so it doesn't affect the flange itself. So I made the notches, welding every 5 centimeters, going in cross pattern with the TIG and my filler rod, and let's send it. So I got it welded all the way around. It's not pretty, but it will work definitely, especially if we already put some pulls on this with just the outside welded. I think that the penetration here really will be fine. And yeah, we had some interesting failures of cups while welding this. We also ran out of the filler sticks, so I ended up chopping up some plate and using that, and I didn't know if that would work, but apparently it does. It's not pretty, but it'll do the job. Let's put it back into the car. En dan had ik hem iets verder geschoven nog.
Shit, omdat ik wel uithalen om mijn hand. Jippie, dan kan ik de schuur. En ga je dat hoor?
Quick update, me and Thijs got the gearbox on, and I have almost all of the bolts in. Thijs is figuring out the last two for the starter on the right side, and meanwhile Ian is doing some fabrication with cardboard aided design to make a little cover for this. And next up is making that out of metal, figuring out all of the stuff that still needs to be put on, just like the exhaust. I also replaced the steering rack boot on the driver's side because that was torn, and now it has a new one, nicely aligned again. And Thijs is getting the final bolts for the starter in, and then we should be able to put the drive shaft back on and the gearbox mount, get the exhaust on, and go for the drive. So next up, to get the driveline finished, I'm going to put on the drive shaft. This is the front half. And what I noticed is that there's a slight bit of play in the splines to the shaft for the in and out movement. So what I've done is I've drilled and tapped 2 holes, which I'll insert these set screws, which have a little brass fitting, and they will use a little locking nut and go in there. So I'm gonna get that in there as well. I'm gonna use a little bit of Loctite on that so they don't move, even though they have like locking nuts. I just really don't want those to go out. So let's get this under the car and see if we need to straighten the drive shaft any further. One of the things to get this car legal is to have the rear lights lighting up when I put it in reverse. So what I've prepared is this little wiring loom, and it has a Deutsch 2-pin connector right there. And the other side is short, and that will go to my rear switch on the gearbox. This is the BMW gearbox, and as you can see right there, the 2-pin connector is there, and I think it's a bit too tight with the exhaust also being there, so I'm going to basically solder it to the inside of the pins and have the little connector at the end to actually undo it. And then we'll have that running up to the fuse box, which is at the bottom right, and it just needs power and the signal pin to basically be connected to the car, and that will work. So let's do that now. Let's solder that in. Okay, so long story short, it doesn't like being soldered to. Should have probably done that when the gearbox was out, but I didn't take my stuff with me. So now I'm just gonna use these little slip-on connectors. Cut a bit off, strip the wire, and put them into the connectors on. I'll put it shut, so the thing itself will be shut with some hard silicone, and it will be as watertight as it needs to be. Could probably also do this outside of the car, but I'm already here, so might just as well finish it. There we go, that's those 2 on, and then those will fit on. There you go, that's those in, all in there. And now I fish the other wire through from the top. So I'll fish that at the top of the gearbox somewhere. Get it routed through so it doesn't hit the drive shaft or the exhaust. Nice. And now just using some sealant to fill the gaps so it's not exposed to the elements. There we go, and that's mounted very nicely. This is the wire at the front, basically going down from here, and I just need to wire that into this pin all the way in the corner, the red with the green stripe. Need to connect to one of those because that's if you pull power to those, it goes to the rear lights and grounds them there so the lights turn on. And the other one, I'll probably take one of these switch 12 volts, which is not used anymore, verify it's actually 12 volts, and then wire both wires to 112 volts and to the lamp, and that should make it so that my wiring now works, and I can tuck this all away and neaten this up and have working reverse lights. So I'll do that right now. So now in theory, this is connected, this gets 12 volts, and if I put it in reverse, so the rear is actually first rear, bam, and then the working rear lights. The left one wasn't perfect, so it's still staying on like this, but and yeah, so next up on the list is doing some really small stuff, like there's 2 pins here, this one. I have a wink mod on this car, so it can wink to me, and I had this connector in the front, but that's been apart and the engine's been out, in and out so many times. I just need to reconnect this. I'll use one of these again, actually reconnect this as well. The Deutsch 2-pin, just like that for the boost controller. It's really nice, they're nice connectors. I'll put one here as well so I can undo it, because this was like clamped in, but it's not perfect and it came loose, so just gonna do that with a quick connector like that. Now that that's finished, I'll go up to the drive shaft. So the reason for the adjustment screws is because I have this, hopefully it shows. There's the slightest bit of play in that, which if there's play, it tends to go to one side, then I'll swing around. So we'll try to get the play down by adjusting these just ever so slightly on, and that'll allow the drive shaft to still move back and forth in and out basically, and prevent our little play action. It's better already, but it's not perfect. I'm gonna fiddle with that a bit and then put the nuts on to really get them stuck in their place. So I have adjusted them, and now it's a lot better. You can see there's nearly no play. Those will be adjustable later on. That's kind of nice. I hope I don't have to adjust it too much, but eventually I'll probably get a proper drive shaft made at a drive shaft shop. This was just an experiment, of course, building my own one, so trying to get it as good as possible with just the minimum amount of tools I have here, and so far the result is pretty okay. Of course we had the first drive which wasn't too successful, but the idea is plausible. So this is the very technical setup I have here. It's a block of wood, the MX5 scissor jack, and then a bit of tube just laid up onto the frame so it's static. And to that I have clamped my tool that you saw before to center the top dead center of the piston. So at the top dead center of the piston, the finder basically, it's a digital gauge with a little rod that can go up and down, and it measures digitally right there. You can see negative 1.8, it's upside down, so there you go. And if I now by hand move the drive shaft, you'll see that I already zeroed it at the highest point basically. See 0.07, 0.03, 0.01, and then 0.0, basically 1,000th of a millimeter. This is in millimeters, by the way. So this is the highest point. So it's now, if it is bold, it's like pointed downward, and that's right there. And as you just saw, the beginning value of this was 1.8 millimeters. That was the other side. So that was the most, well, like this, the pointy bit upward. It's moving 1.8 millimeters outward and inward. So I need to correct that. And the way I'm going to do that is cut into the weld right there and get it to its lowest point, and then jack it up and see if we can get this to 0, or at least as close to it, because 1.8, 1.9 millimeters is a bit too much. If I can get that within a few tenths, I'm very happy, and we'll try to make that work. right there. Okay, so that's the highest point. Now I'm going to zero it, basically. So I have jacked it up a few times, going further and further each time, and now I have it set to 1.386. So that's the highest point now. So at the same time, Amy is making a little plate for the cover. That's right here. I'll show you actually. The gearbox has a little cutout right there, which is right there, and that shows the flywheel, at least the rear. And because it's a street car, it will be driven in the wet. I don't want the water to pile in on my flywheel. Because this is a street car, I don't want to get water in the bell housing, and make a nice plate to cover that off. And at the same time, I will put the exhaust back on and get the braces on there as well. So there's currently no exhaust on. Same for the downpipe. And it's all right here. And one more thing is I'm going to put this FWLR Tuning knock sensor gauge on. This is a audio knock device, and I've used this one for my customer cars as well. When I do road tuning, it allows you to put in a headset to listen to the knock sensor, and you'll hear if there's knock, and you'll also have a LED display. And I really like these, so I'm gonna put one in my car. It comes with its own knock sensor right here, and I've wired it in, and this goes to the knock sensor that will be on the engine and generate the knock signal. Hey guys, to celebrate the car going on its first few drives, I've actually designed a small batch of t-shirts. It features an exploded view of the Volvo 5-cylinder engine on the back and the car on the front. Find them alongside some car parts at mpperformance.eu. So Amy has made the little plate. See if I can get the camera in there. There you go, that's the little plate, it's perfect. And now we just have to make sure that the downpipe fits still, and put the exhaust back on, put the bracing on the car, and go for a drive. In the meantime, before we do that, I also wired the knock sensor. It's underneath the intake, and the wire comes in right here. And I'm currently still working on my old wiring, which was an absolute nightmare. I won't show you too much, but basically I have the knock sensor coming in back there, going here, and the FWLR Tuning knock monitor with a little Deutsch connector that I made, same on the knock sensor side, and a 12-volt switched and a ground. I really like this design, and I'm not even sponsored, but I bought this myself a while ago, and I've used it on a bunch of different cars, and I'm really happy with it. He also has a design for free for the Miata here, for this vent hole, one that I'll likely print tomorrow and then put it on the car, so that it fits perfectly in there, and it will still have a ring of vents all around, and I'll have like a nicely set up piece. Nice. Downpipe's on. Now to get the mid pipe connected to the rear pipe, and have the exhaust all back on. So it's the next day, and yesterday we found out that even though we connected everything, it's only running on 4 cylinders. This could be due to multiple different things. We looked at each injector and each coil, tested the output using the ECU's test output function, and it seemed to all be clicking and making spark. but that still could mean there's a few things that could be wrong. I'm thinking it might be a fouled plug, because the last time I went on a drive it was very rich and I didn't get the chance to tune the car anymore. So I think I might have fouled the plug. That would be the best case scenario. I've got 5 new ones right here. These are the NGK BKR7Es right there. And those are the same ones that are in it right now as well. Different option is one of the coils died, also possible, or the injectors, one of them got clogged. They still click using the test output, but it might not actually squirt any fuel in. We noticed cylinder 4 wasn't firing because when we had it running just on 4 cylinders and we unplugged each coil going from 5 to 1, number 4 wasn't responding, so it would run just as bad with 4 unplugged as plugged in. So, and we'd see differences with the other coils. One step I'm going to take is double checking what we did last time, but now visually. Last time Amy was holding her finger on top of the coil pack and feeling if it buzzed, but now I'm actually using the ignition output with this slightly janky setup. Sorry, because I'm working on this alone today. And in theory I should be able to test ignition out 4 and see it spark right there. And we have nothing. So that's interesting. I'm gonna double check and see if could be my smoking gun already. Then it would be quite easy. Just get a new coil pack. I think I can use one from Amy, because the block should be grounded. So, and this should be grounded to the block. So I'm gonna try some more things, see if I find anything. So here is the 5th coil pack undone. So I've undone I'll move this wire out of the way for you guys. Taking the 5th one, put it to the 4th spot, then put it against the block, test the output, and I don't know if you can see that, but that sparks. Let me just sanity check. It's really just coil number 4. So taking it back out, taking the original coil, putting it back into its spot, with the connector all the way in there, making sure that the plug is also all the way in there, putting it against the block firmly, and nothing. Really nothing. So I think I've dead the coil. Comparing the 4th and 5th coil, just by smell, number 4, the one that was supposedly broken, yeah, it smells like one of those, you know, the electric shops. Like, if it smells like that, it's probably broken. The magic smoke's come out. Yeah, this smells like that. So I'm very sure now that this is just fucked. Because I don't have a spare one. I'll have to ask Amy if she brings hers. So that's it for me for today. But you guys will continue on the next day, just like this. Okay, so we're continuing outside. Okay, got the Volvo coil, thanks to Amy. We can try out if it actually runs on all cylinders now. I hope so. That's how easy it is. Swap your whole engine. With just add 1 coil and you have a 5-cylinder. Putting the covers back on so nothing can get in. Okay, now we're going to upload the dwell times for the coils, because I don't want to break one again. Don't know if it was correct, so just check it, and we'll go to start the car. First cranking will be get the oil pressure going. It's starting to make pressure. Now it's starting to start, or at least trying. I'll give it a moment. And that's all 5. That sounds a lot more like 5. It's running quite rich, but that's just starting, I guess. Still need to tune the whole car basically. You can't see me right now, but I'm in the car with the laptop. It's at 0.8 lambda, which is very rich, but that's fine for just warming up for a bit. I'll pull some fuel out and I'll dial it in once it's at temperature. Oil pressure is at 4.5 bar, which is pretty good, and lambda is fine, 0.8. It's all working on the display as well. Okay, so one issue that we have that currently still makes this a bit more challenging is that the fan is actually missing a piece. We already took it apart and we couldn't find it, and we don't have time tonight, so we took out the whole console in the middle, but the fans and the wipers are doing nothing. Has to be some kind of wiring I did. I think one of the power wires probably in the fuse box. Both the heater and the wipers go to the same fuse basically. But we're going to send it, and we have it's 1 degree C. Well, you can't see that right now, but when we turned the car and the IAT was 1 degrees, and we're in the long jackets, and we're going to go for a drive and with a wipe and try to see if it even works. Else I'll come back another day and figure out my wiring, because this is less than optimal and it's going to fog up. So I'm gonna figure out if this mount works as well for you guys. Oh, it seems to be already fucked, so oh well. Amy will be holding the... No, I'll figure something out. Sure.
Just help now.
I'll start the car and we'll start tuning it. Knock monitor. I'll start the car. Geen super krachtig in. Maar dat was niet fueling. Dan moet hij rijker in boost.
Hier. Zeker erbij. Dit stukje is weer gedaan.
Ja, en nu hieronder ook en iets daarnaast ook. Dat een beetje gelijk, dat deze weer bol, dat is mooi.
Ja.
Nou, doen we nog een rondje. je voelt het.
Je had ook even geen...
Geen?
Nee, ik had even geen connectie. Ja. Bij die eerste...
Oké, dus je moet gewoon committen. Maar hij loopt niet op allemaal. Hij misvaart nog. En er rammelt wat van alles. Hoe is het geluid? Klinkt het ook nog raar? Hoor we het? Klinkt eigenlijk helemaal niet zo gek.
Nee. Maar...
Loopt hij nog allemaal?
Oh, het is een klein nog steeds. Ik zou hem uit.
Ja. Sure. Okay, so we drove the car and drove pretty well. It did start to misfire, and I've had enough of these coils and I've taken them out. I'm gonna be going to an upgraded coil set, and I'll have to make a new wiring harness for that, which is fine. So that's it for today. The car isn't running perfectly. We'll get it tuned better, but I'm gonna go to new coils because this ones aren't the best. Kind of knew that beforehand, but okay. I'm gonna make a new wiring harness. I'll show you guys how to do that, and also we'll fix the heater issue or the blower motor issue. So basically the blower motor is doing pretty much nothing. So are the wipers, also not working. I think it's something to do with the wiring I did in the fuse box underneath here, because we deleted the dash. Quite a few things were actually powered by that, so it's not getting power to the wipers and the blower motor, but we'll fix that as well. So that's it for today, and I'll see you guys next time.